What's up everybody, welcome back to Totally Exposed.
We've recently bought the latest 85mm from Canon, the f1.4L.
That's right, and we've been using it for a couple of weeks now, but we want to make a video on it, so today we're going to take it out and about, put it through its paces in a kind of a real world review.
Let's do this.
So here it is then, the latest and perhaps greatest 85mm lens from Canon, the f1.4L IS. Now it sits in the middle of the Canon 85mm lineup between the cheaper f1.8 and the more expensive f1.2L. However, this is the only one with image stabilization, if that's something that's important to you. Comparing the lenses then quickly, this latest red ring beast is a lot heavier than the f1.8. Our f1.4 here weighs 950 grams, which is almost a kilo. It's got 4 stops of image stabilization to help those shaky handheld shots, and it's got a 77mm filter ring. Exciting stuff. But enough of the boring spec sheet stuff, let's see how it gets on out and about in the real world. Okay, so we've come down here to Fargo village in Cov today. They got sausages, they got cider. I don't know if you can tell by the look of me, but I like sausages, I like hot dogs. Plenty of photo opportunities. I reckon we'll go and have a look. Let's see what this lens can do, shall we? Let's go and have a look. Right, well, we've had a bit of a walkabout. We're taking some snaps, we've done some B-roll. We are at a cider festival after all, so rude not to, innit? Cheers. It's not bad cider. I haven't had a hot dog yet though. Let's get back to photos, shall we? This lens. What can we say about this lens? I tend to do a lot of music concert photography. I normally use kind of a 50mm prime. Wide aperture, perfect for music photography, low light situations. This puppy, however, the 85mm, just gives you that little bit more reach. f1.4, really handy in those low light situations. Now, I've actually taken this out on a couple of music photography gigs recently. I'll slap some photos up now, you can have a look at what they look like. This lens was stellar, I thought. It was really, really good. Like I say, it's a really nice focal length, and the bokeh is absolutely stunning on it. But before we get too carried away with all the creamy bokeh ball goodness, let's just take a moment and appreciate for a minute how good this lens is as a general low light lens. I took these pictures that you're looking at here on the Canon 5D Mark IV, just as I was sat in the bar we were in with a cider on the go. Less than ideal lighting conditions, sure, but the wide aperture made life a lot easier in that regard. Not to mention how it allowed for really good separation of your subject from the background. You do need to be careful though, that super shallow depth of field can catch you out, like in this picture here that I took of Neil. One of his eyes, the front eye here, is in focus whilst the other one is lost. Maybe that's an effect you're going for, in which case that's great, but it's just something that's worth bearing in mind. In terms of weight, I mean, it's a big old chunk of glass, isn't it? It's not small. It is quite hefty. I think you could drop this thing on the floor and it'll just bounce back up and hit you in the face. It's solid, mate. Okay, so before there were any lenses bouncing into people's faces and taking people's eyes out, we decided we're going to go for another stroll around the Sausage and Cider Festival, seeing what else we could take some photos of and, you know, generally testing out the lens. Now, me personally, I'm absolutely loving this new 85mm. The focal length seems just right, for me anyway, when mounted to a full frame body. It's just got that little more reach obviously than the 50 provides, but it doesn't feel too telephoto, you know, and the images don't look too compressed. It's really good. It really is a great portrait lens as it's been advertised. We bumped into some like-minded camera enthusiasts whilst we were wandering about, and you know, in between chatting about gear and what cider was the best one on offer, we managed to take some nice portrait shots of those guys as well. And looking back at the images now, I'm blown away by the detail and clarity you get in your images when you nail the focus on the eye just right. And the slightly longer length allows you to get more candid shots as well, without needing something like the very unsubtle 70-200 in your back pocket. Oh, and there was a dog. Got to pay that dog tax, right? Okay, Neil's thoughts.
So hands-on with the 85mm f1.4L from Canon, it feels really good in the hand. That's one thing I like about it. It's got real kind of good build quality to it. It's quite weighty. It's about 900 odd grams, I think, but it feels kind of solid in the hand. It's not metal. It's like they're kind of weird plastic. Another thing I really like about this lens is how quick the autofocus is. It's proper snappy when you need it to be. I'd say it's probably the best, the quickest autofocus in 85mm when you compare it to the 1.2 and the 1.8. One of the really good things about this lens compared to the f1.2 and the f1.8 85mm is obviously you've got the inbuilt 4 stops of image stabilisation, which is brilliant for video when you're hand holding. So taking a closer look at the IS then, for video at least, here's a shot handheld with IS turned on. Now this was 4K on the 5D Mark IV, so there's some serious crop to deal with as well, which doesn't help Matt as much, but it works really well compared to when it's off. Taking a look again at Neil here, having a nice refreshing drink. The image stabilisation is working wonders. Again, when you compare to when it's turned off, it's a bit of a jittery mess. Obviously the big sticking point with this lens is the price. I mean, compared to the 1.2, which I think at the moment, the 1.2L is around about £1,000. The 1.8, which is the cheaper version, that's around, you can get that now for about 400 quid, which to be fair, if you wanted a decent 85mm, that's a bargain really. I mean, we paid about 1,400 quid for this, which is pretty steep. Obviously it's still quite new, but is it worth it? Well, I think so. But leave a comment below and see what you think. Right then, so it's been a couple of weeks actually since we tested that out at the Sausage And Cider, whatever it was, festival. Sausage and Cider Festival. It's given us a couple more weeks to kind of reflect on the lens and have a think about what we reckon to it. Key takeaway points. Creamy bokeh. Very nice bokeh. It is very nice. I think we'll agree from the images that we saw. Yep. Nice bokeh. Yeah, it's good how you can really separate your subject from the background, as some of the test shots you can see. Great for portraits and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely. It's so sharp. It's super sharp lens as well. I was actually really amazed with the sharpness. I've seen other people's photos sometimes and been a little bit, why aren't ours like that? But some of these photos that we've been looking at today, or whatever, they've been really sharp, so that's good. Yep. One other thing we really liked about this lens is the super fast autofocus, so you can really, snap into those shots super quick. It was pretty fast. I haven't tried the 1.2, but I've seen video reviews of that, and it does look like it takes a while to move that massive big piece of glass around. This is pretty snappy, so that's pretty good as well. Number 3. Obviously the really wide aperture, f1.4, not obviously as wide as the f1.2. f1.4 still perfect enough though, like I say, you get the help with the separation of your background. Yeah. Mainly though, low light performance, for me at least anyway, like I said at the beginning, I like to do a lot of sort of low light photography, really helps out with that, so that's a big point. Yep. One thing this lens has over the 1.2 and the 1.8 is obviously the image stabilisation, which is fantastic for video. I mean, you can see in some of the test videos we did the difference it makes. Yeah. It's a really good feature to have. So that's a big bonus as well for this lens. I don't think any of the others have got that though, no. None of the 85mm have it, no. And then we touched upon it, but the build quality of the lens, superb. One thing I don't think we've mentioned, it's actually dust and weather sealed as well, so could be out and about if you're shooting in the desert or the rain or whatever. Rainy desert. In the rainy desert, that's right. It's perfect for the rainy desert. Yeah, it's been put together really well, and this thing can survive anything, I think. Built like a tank. Obviously, no lens is perfect, and this lens has a few drawbacks. The biggest one I definitely would say is the price. It is quite new at the moment. We paid about 1,400 quid for this lens. You can get the 1.8 relatively cheap at the moment. I think it's about 400 quid on Amazon. Yeah. And then obviously the 1.2 2, which is obviously a more expensive lens, that's around the £1,800 mark. So in a way, it sits in the middle, which you expect for between 1.2, 4 and 8. It's not cheap. No. but
definitely worth
it is also brand new. So maybe if you sat tight for a little bit and waited for them to come out second hand, if it was a little bit rich for you at the moment, good option.
Yeah.
So weight, we've mentioned before, 950 grams, that's almost a kilo. It's not the lightest lens.
No, but like we mentioned with the price, it sort of sits in the middle of the 1.2, which comes in at just over a kilo, I think.
Yeah.
And then the 1.8, which is almost half the weight of this. I think that's around 450 grams. So again, it sits in the middle.
So that's all we can think of to say that's bad about it, to be honest.
I mean, it's a brilliant lens. I mean, a lot of people giving it rave reviews, and we can see why. It's a brilliant bit of glass.
Glad you bought it?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that was helpful in any way, shape or form. If it wasn't, well, give it a thumbs down. Screw you guys. But if it was helpful, give it a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a share.
Yep.
Subscribe to our channel for more content to do with photography, videography. Catch you in the next one.
See you later.
See you later.